Well, that was a long break. Hopefully, Windows are satisfied with those updates. Guys, we're back. It's Game 3. Got Swiss Quality Gaming going up against Team Kinguin here in the third game. This is only the first best of 3 on the day, so there's a lot more Dota coming at you guys. And as of right now, these teams actually looking pretty reasonably matched. Game 2 was definitely a slugfest, whereas Game 1 was a little bit more even. You never know what's going to happen in this third game. Got a tiny first pick. Here we go. I'm Mikelorus, guys. Got Rhyme here as well. And looks like Kinguin are going to stick to their guns. The Disruptor play has been fine, I think.
Disruptor's been first pick for Kinguin every single game.
Yeah.
And Disruptor's, he's had some issues learning some ultis, but he's also had some good combos as well, so it's kind of been touch and go. Oh, Disruptor Rubik, I don't like that. I just see that straight up and I just don't like that. That means automatically you've got a Rubik 4 position, which is not one of the strongest heroes in that position by any means. Also doesn't particularly combo very well with Disruptor. You've got to have some strong lanes for this to work out. So Kinguin are going to be running some strong lanes immediately, you can already see from that. And Tiny Tusk. So 3 out of 4 picks are the same from the last game for the first 4. So hopefully this shouldn't be a clone of the last game, because the last game was more of a farm fest. There was some fighting in the early laning stages, and then it just kind of ended up being... I personally found it a bit boring, but I don't know about you.
Well, you know, at any rate, the Tusk Tiny is still a little bit of an aggressive start here for SQG, so maybe not as much farming, at least coming out from their end. Kinguin, it looks like they could end up in like one of those same game styles. With this opening, I'm kind of on the same page as you. I think like Rubik is strongest when he's played as 4, but as a 4, he's not the strongest hero that you can pick up for that role, which is a really awkward place for the hero to be in. You need heroes like Death Prophet. You need heroes that can do a lot of damage given a little bit of positioning in order to make these two heroes work, because they have a lot of control, but they have Jack as far as damage is concerned. And you need a lot of damage to kill off Tiny, so Kinguin already kind of starting things off on the back foot with this Rubik Disruptor opening. I really don't... I don't like it as well, but we'll see what they can do with it. SQG will get a couple more Ice heroes. Tusk now in AA. A little bit of soft counter versus DP. Definitely not bad.
Yeah, so DP is going to have a hard time surviving. You've got Tiny combo plus AALT combos to AALTs. You've got AALT everywhere. So Kinguin just kind of need to pick something that kind of overrun this. Like, you need to beat the Tiny in lane somehow. You need to make sure this AA doesn't get like fast level 6 and just try and secure their laning phase. They've got some pick stuff to do that. They also have the last pick as well, so they'll probably be picking some relatively safe offlaner here. Yeah. Okay, Beastmaster. He's good for map control. He doesn't particularly combo with any of their current heroes, but he doesn't... He's also not that great versus Tiny or Tusk, but they want to end this game kind of quickly. They've got Death Prophet Beastmaster cores already, so we'll be seeing how their last pick kind of fits into that as well.
They had a very similar looking kind of style in the last game that they didn't really quite get off to the start they would really like, and had to take a pause on that aggressive plan. This time it seems a little bit more overt, a little bit more brute force. Just, you know, use the attack speed on the Beastmaster, and of course the initiation power. Use that Death Prophet ultimate and start pushing everything down. They just lost the Vengeful Spirit, but it seems like this is the type of draft where you could fit in a Vengeful Spirit and it can get a lot done. Fit in a Luna and you can get a lot done. Lone Druid is still in the... No, it's not. He's banned out. Okay, never mind.
No, he's firmly removed.
Yeah.
No sign of that hero. How dare you suggest him? Ugh, honestly. Alright. Now, after I've recovered being very offended at that Lone Druid suggestion, are they going to pick 4th? Now, it could be mid, it could be safe, and it could be anything. That Tiny is extremely open in terms of his roles. So we're going to be seeing something that probably does pretty well versus DP in lane. Kinguin went for the OD versus it, which I don't actually recommend that much, because it ended up being OD versus Podem, and then that lane ended up being even worse than DP would have been. So I'm looking at this. Queen of Pain, that's right out. Shadow Fiend, honestly, they wouldn't go wrong by picking the Shadow Fiend again. I think he's actually pretty strong in this game. Other heroes, you know, I don't really know what RVP's hero pool is other than Mirana and Shadow Fiend, so maybe he plays like Storm and TA in that lot, but both of those heroes seem bloody awful here. So he also plays Invoker, I know that, but yeah, that hero is also, well, I think you can imagine. Viper. Oh, now that's one of RVP's other heroes. I remember playing against that a few times. Now that seems pretty decent here. You know, it will get the job done. It will sit middle and it will do well in lane. It should do anyway.
I don't see this Viper going anywhere anytime soon, dude. Like, he's gonna go mid, most likely. And Rubik, Disruptor, cannot touch a Viper, like, ever. Even if it's like a 3-man gank onto the Viper. If there's another hero there, Viper with AA or Tusk, then he's just gonna shrug all of that damage off. It's a very, very difficult hero to kill off.
You'd be surprised sometimes. Like, if they get a glimpse into right clicks, they'll kill him. If they get a lift into the tower, a lift and like he gets blocked a little bit by creeps and then gets hit when DP's level 4. I think they have some room to maneuver this with Rubik until the Viper hits level 5, and then past that it's just going to be glimpse plays to kill him. And then obviously once DP gets the ulti, that's one of the best things for killing Viper, because you don't have to worry about your attack speed getting slowed because it isn't you attacking, and all the little ghosts do the damage for you. So I think you'll be seeing some intervention early on by Rubik, and then it will be either all or nothing from then on.
We'll see what they can do. Definitely kind of got to play to the Viper's positioning, as in, like, you can't really like force those kills as you can when you have someone like a Tusk or an Earth Spirit. You kind of have to hope the Viper pushes a little bit too far or runs out of mana or something like that, and kind of prey on his on those weaknesses of the hero. We'll see what they want to go for their last pick, SQG. A safe lane or off lane Tiny, of course, is viable, but it does seem like Kinguin have the read it. Tiny going to go towards a safe lane, looking for the off lane hero now for SQG with Sand King and Legion and Bat all already taken out. Kinguin have a lot of control, so you don't really want to pick up like one of those super mobile heroes, including a Disruptor, so Tidehunter is not looking all that great.
And there it is again. So is this going to be... Okay, the PL last pick. So PL, not the greatest versus Tiny, not the greatest versus Tusk, not the greatest versus AA. Actually, no, he's pretty decent AA, but he does very, very well versus the Viper, and he matches up averagely versus the Polnum. So this is a relatively safe last pick. Not really the focus of their draft by any means, but he should be fine if he gets farm.
Is a hero that you can participate early-ish with the pushing without going like all in on anything. Like if you do go for Eventual Spirit last, then you're kind of all in on that pushing game plan. But right now they have the Beastmaster and Death Prophet, which is usually just enough push to take a handful of towers here and there with the fallback of that Death Prophet, and of course that Phantom Lancer with the attack speed aura, which is going to be pretty ridiculous. And as you said, with we'll call it limited options coming out from the SQG side as far as dealing with that PL, Tiny can do pretty well for a good portion of the game. Mirana typically is a hero that is completely okay, even happy to buy a Maelstrom, but if this game does push to the later stages, if Exotic Deer is going to play a late game PL, SQG are going to really struggle up against that. They don't really have many great answers.
Well, we'll find out. So Elisash is done taking damage. He's got 2 mangoes and he's walking off the bot lane. Exotic Deer's got, well, he's got standard items. Got Mad Kings playing Tiny, Wish playing Tusk. You've got RVP playing Pollen once again. So see if you can make this work this time. Davi's going to be walking around on Ancient Apparition, and then Tricky's going to be safe lane Viper. Viper versus Beastmaster. This lane looks like it's going to be real bad for Viper until he hits like level 4 or something, and then I'm sure it will even out eventually.
Patos has played the Beastmaster quite a bit in the past, and Mirana versus now Nisha's Death Prophet. It's not like the best lane for the Mirana or anything like that. There aren't really many great lanes for Mirana, I would say, in general. But Swarm is definitely going to be annoying. Siphon really isn't, though. As Mirana, you just leap away every single time. So that safety mechanism definitely will do a lot for SQG. And who knows, if you set up with the Shards, Arrow, you can definitely get a lot done. Mad King's on the bottom lane, going to be jumped on by the Disruptor. Thunderstrike value right there. And looks like Bounty Runes should probably be evenly split. Patos is going to grab his. Do you hear the voice lines that Marana is saying? Or is my audio not high enough for me to hear it?
I can hear them, yeah.
Oh, you hear them? Damn, I have to raise my audio then. How am I missing out on voice lines? A lot of people hated those other voice lines, like whenever that was before. I loved that shit, man.
My quest is to get the level 25 Skyrath one.
Is that the Eerie speech?
Yeah, it's that one.
The one that lasts like 5 minutes long?
Yes, it is that one. Okay. Now, Nisha's sitting in this lane. He has a 10 damage advantage. 9, but you get what I mean. So this should be fairly favoured towards him, but Column obviously has Arrow to get the last hit if need be. So this lane...
Oh, cats are caught. And with the tree, is going to die from a right-click downtown from the AA. And this is like the worst case scenario for these supports. Like, Disruptor and Rubik don't want to brawl. Tusk and AA kind of do. And Exotic Deer can throw in a Lance every now and again, but he is going to have to worry about this disgusting damage with a Tiny, and of course when he does have that tree, that cleave as
Nisha,
well.
Be careful.
Oh.
The Nisha's very low.
Yeah, that was... I did not expect that to happen. He's going to chug a salve, but immediately RVP is going to jump in and cancel it. Jump out and not die to the tower. He's going to have a salve of his own, so he's going to be just fine. But the mid lane is for sure an absolute battle zone. And up towards top lane, Tricky should be able to apply a decent amount of pressure to Patos, but on bottom lane, it's Katsar. He's completely caught, can literally not move. Mad King's taking a little bit of damage, though. Does chuck out an avalanche, but will go down to Exotic Deer. Will doppelgang away from that cold feet, and that fight was a little bit risky there from SQG. That Tiny needs to stay alive in those engagements. Sacrifice the AA, sacrifice the Tusk to get kills, whatever, as long as the Tiny is still in the lane.
This lane feels like it's pretty imbalanced, and it feels like the Tiny Tusk AA should crush this lane. So the fact that PL's farming at all is pretty impressive. Oh, and then you see why Tiny's broken, because he can just deny like that.
88 damage, man.
Yep, it's nice. 88 damage with the 10% bonus as well, so it's pretty cool. Alright, so Patos is actually just walking around and getting the bounty. So he's kind of given up on playing this lane to contest the Viper because it's already got too difficult. I'm pretty sure he should be doing better than this, but maybe I just don't know how this matchup works. He's going to pull the creep wave for now.
I can't imagine it's all that great for Beastmaster. And Beastmaster has been going for the Axe build as of late, and that is physical damage. So like, if you're going to kill a Viper, that's how you're going to do it. But you can only throw so many of those out. Viper still has a lot of regen here, so I'm not really sure if it's going to be a great long-term plan there. Wish is going to get lifted up out of his shards, and now is trapped by his own shards, kind of. Another Lance will get the kill. A little bit of aggressive positioning there on that Tusk. Has to snowball back to the creep wave, and that obviously just sets up for the easiest field of all time from Elisash. So they do get a handful of kills in this bottom lane, Kinguin. This Tiny, though, is still quite a big issue, and the fact they killed off the Tusk is great and everything, but it's not going to stop him from still setting up more kills, assuming he doesn't miss shards like he just did.
Yeah, this lane is not going as well as I thought it would, though. Like, PL is farming pretty damn well decently for what this lane is. So, especially given the fact that he killed Tiny that early on. He's going to miss some CS on the tower, but he can't get those anyway, so it's more a question of how the mid lane and top lanes go, because this lane seems to have kind of reached equilibrium. And top lane is, it's not gone well for Beastmaster, as you can see.
15 CS. Gotta assume that a good portion of those are going to be neutrals, so a lot less bounty there. Mad Kings is going to get jumped on again. Bottom lane does do a lot of damage back to Exotic Deer, but he just fills up the wand, who turns around with the Lance, gets the kill. Now the glimpse back onto Davey. Up against 3, will try to teleport out. Another Lance. Oh, it's just short. And the AA will survive, but AA dying there, I mean, wouldn't have really mattered. They already lost the hero that matters in the Tiny, now forced to walk back to the lane. He does have all this damage, Tiny, but we saw it in that first game. He may have all of this damage, but he's still a 0 armor hero. You have to get through him with physical attacks, and they had just all the time in the world to do so. So, yeah, Kinguin getting another pick off there. He's going to, again, be Patos getting dumpstered on this top lane. Tricky's just going to slowly but surely poison him, dive him in the tower, and keep that lane on lock. But, I don't know. Top lane's going well for SQG. Bottom lane, not as much so.
Yeah, Viper's doing well, but PL is also... Actually, PL's just being kept down, kind of. He's got some kills, but he's not really that farmed. The problem is with this offlane Tiny now is the fact that he shared all this XP. He's only level 3. So it's not really that amazing. But the supports are doing pretty well in levels overall. So the net worth is sitting pretty even. Overall, Mad Kings is just going to wander around a bit more. Look for some denies maybe.
You can tell how aggressive he wants to be. Just walking right past the creep wave, just looking for exotic deer to be isolated so you can get that avalanche toss combo. Throwing trees and whatnot. Slash shards this time will connect, but they're in a really bad spot to actually go for this kill. Snowball is going to give them a little bit of cover to go in. Does kill off the disruptor, but will cost them Davy. And Catsaur should be fine. Exotic deer at literal full HP. Is just going to chase out Wish. Looks like that should probably just be the end of it. Kills being traded in this lane, but the farm, it's still going in favor of that PL. This is kind of okay for Kinguin, especially if they're able to get Mad Kings again. Cold Feet goes off to Catsaur, as they'll change instead to Davy, letting Mad Kings kill off Catsaur. Exotic Deer needs this kill. Another doppelgang forward. He's going to try to in-switch and does get the kill. And will get trapped with shards. Has no more doppelgang, but does cut down a handful of trees. Gets to a bounty rune and should be free and clear, maybe. Another snowball is here. Mad Kings has another toss. In range now, tosses the Tusk. And he does have a little bit of a rush out to the creep wave, which is there for some reason. Exotic Deer, shards, arrow, a little bit off. Does have a doppelgang up to the high ground. Oh, no, he's not on the high ground. He ended up in the low ground. What the hell happened there? He's just going to give up because he's like, screw this game.
As unlucky as I've ever seen.
Patos dies in the top lane in the meantime. That looked like it should have worked.
Are they really just going to get snowballed out of this laning phase? Like, it feels really bad. Like, 1k lead. The saving grace is the fact that Tiny's a level 4, but this Viper's level 8 compared to, what, level 5 of Beastmaster now? I don't know. Okay, they're walking mid with the Viper, but I don't think they're really going to get this DP unless she decides to lose her mind and just run in. Okay, she's running in.
Just wants to get those couple of right clicks. Why would the Viper be here, right? It's like he's having such a great time top. No real reason to leave. So. They do see him now with the obs. So no more secrets as they will go for Mad Kings once more. This Tiny is going to get shredded on this bottom lane. All his supports elsewhere. And the Viper moving out of that top lane is going to give Patos quite a bit of time to get some value on top himself. Otherwise, wouldn't be able to touch the creep wave. Now is on the creep wave pretty happily with level 6 in tow. So SQG, that last exchange worked out pretty reasonably for them. But the lack of, I don't know, that movement from the Viper is really weird, I think. Like, trying to defend that mid lane.
Yeah, I think he could have just farmed a lot more. Or even gone bot and just sat there and then they can't really kill him. So, okay, that's a kill onto the Tusk with the Roar, so that's nice. They can pressure this tower a bit as well. Mad Kings is just going to sit here and get his level 6 and might try and defend it. RVP's looking for a kill onto this Disruptor, and he will get it.
Easy kills.
There's 2 cores mid for the support though, so it's not the most efficient of rotations, but it's still quite nice.
I mean, like, if you move your Viper out of that top lane, I guess Tiny's there, but Tricky's looks like he's unsure as to where he's supposed to go. He's gonna end up in bottom, and the level advantage is gonna make this so that he's just fine up against this PL. But definitely weird to see him just move around so much. They are gonna catch RVP with the glimpse. He's just gonna turn around and kill off the Disruptor. One leap, he only has the one. And Nisha has another swarm, which should get the kill. Oh, the range up just comes back up. And that'll keep the Mirana safe. Nisha still with the Siphons is going to be able to tank tower shots pretty safely. In fact, just trading shots with Wish. As Catsaur comes in from behind. He does have a lift up. Fade Bolt is level 3. It's not going to be used on the Mirana because it's still at range drop. He'll just zap down Wish instead. It's something.
The arrow? No, it doesn't quite hit even if it does hit. No follow-up. And yeah, they've moved the Viper down to the bot lane, moved the Tiny up. So there's a bit of an interchangeability of lanes here. So Viper He's working towards that hood into the Dragonlance. Tricky does seem to like buying hood and related items from this series, I've gathered. So I say so a lot, but there's Exotic Deer is just farming down here, 44 CS, but not the lowest. Is actually everyone's sitting between 43 and 59 CS. Like, this is a very bizarre game. All of the cores are almost exactly even on CS.
Wow, that is weird. Usually the range is a lot higher there. It's like there would be an offlaner that has like 10 CS at this stage because they're just getting bodied. But even then, like, you know, mentioned Patos just getting bullied by the Viper all day long, and then the Viper leaves. So what do you do when there's no Viper there? Well, you farm the damn lane, and he actually is second place in last hits. Net worth is, I mean, he's third. What the hell happened? He died 3 times solo to the Viper, and now, like, they're just letting him do whatever the hell he wants. They are at least making moves elsewhere, as the Viper, Tusk, and Tiny are looking for the Rubik, but they can't quite catch up to him before he TP's out. So they're going to go for this tower, but Beastmaster with PL push is not something you really want to be racing, so I'm still not sure about that first Viper movement towards mid. Seems like that has had some pretty disastrous effects on the net worth.
Yeah, Vipers, I felt like they must have felt some like need to move the Viper to make his like lane win me. But I think they could have just sat and let him farm, because honestly, 61 CS at 11 minutes on a Viper really isn't that impressive. I feel like he should have a lot more. Like, there is, I feel almost like 1.5k net worth missing from this Viper that should be there. And it's just disappeared to strange rotations and weird moves. So it's a regret that he will have to live with for the rest of this game. But
what do you think about this one on Viper? I mean, you mentioned it as something that, like, I mean, we've seen it already. Tricky just kind of favors this, but magic damage from Kinguin, is that really high enough for your...
No, I don't think it justifies it at all. I think it's a... I don't think it's a good item at all. I think he should be... If he's going to go Dragonlance, I think you buy the Dragonlance. Like, you're buying Hood Steel with Siphon, DP Nuke, and Rubik Nuke, basically. The rest of it is just going to be physical. There's a PL and a Beastmaster in the game, and the Hood does not help you versus either of those heroes. So, I really don't like it, but I could go on for days about how much I don't like it. So, we'll see Tricky run into Patos, and, well, we've seen this story before.
That's
the added story of AA.
Rubik actually is going to jack Ice Blast and get away with it.
Yeah.
Opportunities here. Dude, nothing more satisfying as Rubik than stealing an ultimate. Like, doesn't really matter which one is. If you steal it, you feel good, and here comes the Ice Blast on Tricky. Static Storm is there as well. The Ice Blast does unfortunately miss, but Nisha is right in there with the Ghosts, doing all that physical damage. Snowball is not going to pick up the Viper. In fact, now Wish is in a little bit of a compromised spot, because he's going to get his soul siphoned out as well, and he is going to die.
Alright,
man,
quick bit of trivia.
Ice Blast immediately miss it. Feels bad, man.
Are you ready? How much of that damage from DP Ultimate was mitigated by the Hood?
I'm going to go with $0, Bob. LSI's going to get double jumped on by the Mirana up to the high ground, praying for that miss. Not going to happen. And RVP is probably just free and clear.
Yeah, he should be fine. Oh, they might be able to turn this if they're just going to throw an arrow. It's not going to hit. But yeah, the Hood, really not feeling it. Really definitely not feeling that.
Well, they'll have Nisha in their sights. Silence goes off into 2. Here comes the Ice Blast. Again, gonna miss. Oh, man. You can't even blame him for that one. He tried. Nisha's got 2 Siphons working their way right now, though he is gonna run it out, and it will be the death of the Death Prophet. And now Katzer is in a little bit of trouble. Another toss forward will get another one. As Tiny is going to find an opportunity to use toss, and that Mirana is getting mixed up a lot more in this game than we saw in Game 1, where RVP was kind of just farming for a long time until he had drums and Yasha, and then kind of did nothing. But now, even before the drums, he's getting involved, and that's really what you need to do as Mirana, I feel. Like, use the power of these nukes, use your mobility, and use your assassination power on some of these softer supports.
I'm really, like, looking towards my Thesaurus for, like, overstaying their welcome, like, overstepping their bounds, you know? Like, why were Death Prophet and Rubik just sitting in the enemy woods with no vision when all the enemy heroes are respawning? I don't know. But they did catch the Podum, so this game is just, everyone's dying everywhere. This is very chaotic. Mad Kings is going to blink away from the gank top lane. Escapes the clutches of PL and Beastmaster.
missed like 1 kill, so there you go, guys. I demand all the respect from Twitch chat. That's why we do this. Wish is gonna get glimpsed back a little bit into his own shards, or someone's shards.
Can anyone do anything here?
Ice Blast coming in. Elisash will dodge it, but it does land on the Rubik. Avalanche as well. Will kill off Katzer and Nisha.
They could have gone on Nisha, though, for sure. They could have just killed him.
Oh well.
I don't even think he needed to toss that Rubik. He could have just gone back and tossed the Viper onto... But not very ambitious, but they'll settle for the Rubik, I guess. And Exotic Deer is just going to go and murder AA. That didn't take very long.
As soon as I toot my own horn, that didn't happen, guys. AA died of natural causes there. And
yeah.
PL is already working with that Diffusal Blade, has power treads. Gonna go for the pretty standard Phantom Lancer build, none of this Battle Fury shenanigans. He's pretty happy, but so is Mad Kings. Jump in, Avatos destroys the Rubik. Does get a Starstorm out, will do a little bit of damage to the Tiny, and with the Static Storm there, will get the kill. Sasha
they don't want to back his glimpse.
Someone finds the Mirana. How many leaps does she have? She has 1 more. Siphon still sticking on her, gets a little bit body block, now runs out of the extra movement speed from the drums, and the Death Prophet is charging forward. Does get with the Ice Blast, so there's no more life gained from the Siphon, and that will end up killing her off. Patos Shards will shove him out. Again, one of the more finicky spells in Dota. Wish is going to push forward. Snowball level 4 does do quite a bit of damage with the right clicks. Patos, though, is a bulky hero. And Tricky is going to TP out of there. He'll be just fine. Looks like everyone else will be fine. Exotic Deer is hunting. Can't cancel any of these TPs, though, this Phantom Lancer. So, once again, a little bit more of a brawl. And the Death Prophet perhaps pushing a little bit too far in. Ice Blast up against Siphon is really the only healing that needs to be cut, but man, does it cut the Death Prophet hard.
Yeah, just looking at this. I can't look at Viper, man. I can't highlight that hero. That hood is offending me on some moral level. So, speaking of hoods, Exotic Deer's just purchased his, and I'm sure that Nisha will be buying his soon after. Nisha's really feeling the impact of this AA, because he's sitting there with a 17 charge 1, just like unable to do anything while he just dies to Viper. Because this AA ulti just keeps hitting him. Ugh. Not a very pleasant game to be Death Prophet, I have to say. But, as long as PL climbs up that net worth chart, and continues to do so, I think it will be worth it in the end.
PL hood is...
Oh, the scan catches the smoke.
Choice compared to what we usually see from PLs, but for sure is... Death Prophet just Eul's herself?
Oh, no, just for the sake of it. They know the smoke gank is coming in, so...
Yeah, she might need that.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Hobbs does go down, does see nothing, as the tower will be destroyed. But PL can definitely get away with it in this game. A lot of magic damage coming out from SQG. Smoke gonna push into the jungle. Looks like it's heading towards the bounty route. They keep going. They may run into Exotic Deer.
I don't think they can kill him. I don't think they'll even find him. Oh,
Moonlight Shadow. They did
maybe they saw him,
of him with this Obs. Blind Blink Avalanche?
No, not gonna happen. And this is a counter smoke up from Kinguin, so they're gonna go with Roar on Necro 2. They've got Death Prophet ulti just cooling off in 2 seconds. Mad King should TP out of here, or maybe he won't. No, he's gonna stay out of vision. They actually ping exactly where he is.
There is no Radiant scan, though. They do go up, checking the forest with the smoke. At least they think they're checking the forest with the smoke, but they don't go up enough. The Dire scan does go red. The reads from both of these sides. Really, really well played. Just that map sense. But unfortunately, if Kinguin just go like another 100 range, 200 range to the north, they will blow their smoke, and they have to hunt the Tiny afterwards. He has Blink Dagger. It's not fun, but ultimately everyone is just going to dodge everyone, and we're all back to farming.
Yep. Well, Exotic Deer is by any means. He's just been farming the whole time. He's 9k getting... Oh, he's securing his place at the top there. He's just given complete free farm, and there's not really anything that they can do to stop it. And another smoke coming out. But they don't have vision of where the PL is, but they might just be able to work out from process of elimination, but... Maybe they're just going to run into the Rubik here. Oh, the Death Prophet as well.
Blink, Avalanche Toss, they actually caught both of them! Well, you know why get one when you can get two? Mad King's going to have the easiest Avalanche Toss combo of his life. And, I mean, not much you could do about that. Sometimes the smoke just runs into you and you're just screwed if that happens. We'll go for the push now as the Viper and Mirana gonna get to work. Toss, unfortunately blocked by the fortification there, but it doesn't look like Kinguin have any real interest in defending this. I mean, they don't have the heroes to do it, obviously, but this tower is looking like it's gonna fall here. And Mirana now with the Maelstrom starting to pick up her farm rate as well. And Viper, even though he has gone for this hood, and I think we both agree, kind of thrown away a lot of gold in doing so, is still farming really rapidly, especially for Vipers, who usually struggle a little bit more in keeping up in the farm department.
Yeah, I guess he has just taken a tower, but I really don't think he's actually farming that quickly. But yeah, like they can see it in all chat whenever you I took this amount of damage from someone. Like, everyone in the game can see what Nisha's doing right now.
It's okay. The game is still in a very early alpha stage, so we'll iron all of these issues out when we go to release.
Oh boy!
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I would probably be in the wrong country. So,
hey man, we do have a lot of nickels.
Keep farming. Why would I have any nickels? I'm not in that country.
Oh yeah, but someone's giving it to you still. Shipping.
Where would they get the nickels from?
I don't know.
Someone just going to go to one of those currency conversion places just to give me some nickels for...
Dude, your PayPal is going to have so many chunks of 5 cents. It's going to be insane. Or your bank account or whatever. I don't know the exchange rate. I'm not going to go there. This is not a good place to go for a cast, because it's going to show off how ignorant we are of world things.
I mean, it was like $1.3 to a pound last time I did it, but I can't remember anymore.
I don't know if that's high or low or anything. I have actually zero.
I mean, it used to be like $2 to a pound, and then everything went to. Well, you can. It's not great right now. Something about economic situations and all that. I don't pretend to really understand it.
Yes.
So
the economy. Haha.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We can all sit around a fire and sip cognac. I don't know.
So while we're bullshitting, guys, action's happening on top lane. Static Storm, kind of panic move there from the Disruptor, does ultimately not do anything up against that AA. The Moonlight Shadow was forced there, and it doesn't look like they're... Well, maybe we'll be able to catch up to someone. Disruptor tries to smoke. Not gonna happen, dude. Just gets torn to shreds by the Mirana. Top lane push was stopped by the Viper. Everyone else gonna try to TP out, and everyone else should be able to make it home. It looks like we're good. But only the Disruptor to fall there. This is looking a little bit more like Game 2 than Game 1. Feels pretty bad, man. Kind of want to see some more action here. And ask and you shall receive. Mad Kings, unfortunately, completely whiffs on the real PL. So looks like ask and you shall not receive.
Exotic Deer will live another day. He'll pick up a hastery, and in fact, he might actually go for a kill on Tusk with the Rubik. Yeah, he's going to go for that. Is he just going to TP out straight away? You can't, because there is a lift available. He's going to delay his demise by a little bit with that snowball, but in the end, he will fall. Now, 4 heroes grouping up from SQG, hitting this top tier 1. There's going to be Elder Sash sitting here wondering if he can do anything. The answer will be no, because they're just leaving. AOC flying, where is that going? It's going to defend the tower mid and take RVP's farm. I'm sure he's very happy about that.
Okay, Mirana has a Maelstrom. AA has nothing. Cut the guy a break. Support tax and all that. The Tiny does have a Blink Dagger and a Shadow Blade. And Kinguin now do know about it, for sure. So he may want to just play this tempo role, get those assassinations, but it is going to be a lot more difficult now that it's actually known. SQG, they have so much power in being able to do that, like jump in on that one guy. We've already seen it a couple times now from Mirana. Of course, the Tiny can really always do it as long as he has 4/4 in his build, but just hasn't really been happening. Kinguin have been pretty good about keeping their important heroes in a pretty defensible spot, with the exception of that one time that DP got killed off with the Rubik.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I think that would have otherwise been not a great gank, because it would have just been the Rubik, but the fact that DP was moving through the area meant they got a very big return for that investment. So, Nisha's just going to run into RVP, but nothing really going to happen in this mid lane as Exotic Deer gets AA blasted and dissuaded from hitting the top tower. So, this is a really weird situation, because it's like PL's farming, but is he going to be able to win the game? And I think he might just be able to, but Mad Kings is looking for a go. He doesn't have any mana, though.
Moonlight Shadow is timing out. And it looks like they'll all be fine. They already lost the AA, which got jacked up by the Beastmaster. And
here we go.
Looks like they're going to use all this pushing power to not push towers. Push Roshan. And Roshan is not something that SQG can actually do anything about because they just used their Moonlight Shadow. The AA is dead, so they can't even throw in an Ice Blast for vision. Plus, it goes down extremely quickly thanks to all the creeps that they have to summon. And the ghosts, of course. So, easy double life for Exotic Deer. They may feel inclined to push with it with the next Exorcism once that's up again, but it feels like they could probably just, as you said, just sit back and farm this PL and then have him win the game for them.
It's not exactly win the game for them, but it's like he'll match up well versus... Look at the Viper. The Viper's got... he had a Hood at like 10 minutes and now he's got a Pike and a Maelstrom at 15. That is not a good amount of farm. That's like 400 GPM, maybe less. And in that time, PL's got 13k net worth. He's sitting there with his Manta, his Diffusal, his Hood. He's going to get his level 18 soon. There's going to be more illusions than they know what to do with. The saving grace is the fact that Podham has got a BKB fairly soon-ish, because she's going to farm fast with this Mjolnir. She's also got a DD saved up, so this bot tower might face some pressure.
I'm kind of surprised at the lack of farm on Nisha. I mean, not many like huge team fights were going on, not many times to use Exorcism, but I feel like a Death Prophet should have a little more farm than this at this stage.
Yeah, I honestly don't like this Death Prophet build. I'd massively prefer like the Treads and Aquila, like, and maybe into a Hood. I don't think this Yules has offered anything. I don't think these Nulls, like, they're nice in lane, but I think you could buy an Aquila instead, and the phase is like... I just don't particularly like this Death Prophet build. It is effective sometimes, but when you're in a game where Death Prophet isn't actually that great of a hero in terms of its matchups, I don't think it's the way to go. But that's just my little theory craft.
I mean, 2 Nulls in phase is definitely a build that, as you said, does very well in lane. And up against a Mirana, it's like understandable why you would want to push a lane advantage like that. But at this stage, like, the mobility is kind of nice for the phase boots, but as far as being mobile in the fights, there's a lot of shit you have to run through as the Death Prophet, a lot of slows. BKB, of course, is going to protect yourself against the vast majority of those. So now it's the phase boot build, just got a lot stronger, but we'll see what they can do with this. The Exorcism is just now cooling down. Davy is in the wrong neighborhood, but does blow the smoke. Does unleash an Ice Blast as well, and Nisha actually uses an ultimate. They have caught the Viper. Necro units do have True Sight, and the Viper. Hood. Nice Hood. Oh man, look at all the work it's doing there. Nether Toxin stolen now as the tower was already taken earlier. They will have to go for high ground if they're going to get any structural damage, but in the meantime, Mirana's pushing in the mid lane. Bottom lane, looks like that's pushing out from the Radiant, so they don't have to worry about that, but they do have to worry about this Mirana, and she doesn't have to worry about Aurora. She's going to go in and slay Elisash, although the telekinesis is going to be there with the Static Storm. They'll kill off the Mirana. Okay, that's suddenly 3 kills for Kinguin.
Yeah, that was, she hung around it way too long.
Although there is no True Sight here, the melee Necro Warrior is a little bit too far away from that tiny. Looks like they can't get any structural damage, not much. Are they? They're going to go for it. Okay, maybe they will try to go for it. They do see the Tiny, immediately get that Silence and Siphon. Look at that Drain. The Snowball is going to be there, but the Drain still sticks, and Mad Kings is going to go down. Now Wish is in a tough spot. He's being drained out, and the Lancers are everywhere. Gem on the deck, and now AA is going to show up.
Nah,
really wishes he didn't. The Courier is going to swoop in, grab the gem with that shield on itself, but 2 heroes dumpstering everyone in the top lane for Kinguin, still with this Aegis in tow. No Exorcism, no problem. Mid lane is being pushed in by everyone else with that attack speed aura. Should be able to take down, at the very least, that tier 2, as Tiny's forced to buy back at this stage. Exotic Deer flexing his muscles and then some. That's BKB on him, with the BKB still available on the DP. She didn't use it from before, and now the push is going to come in earnest on the top lane, as Tricky's going to get hit with the Roar. Once again, the Hood is going to do absolutely nothing for him. Great Avalanche toss on the Pathos. They will shatter the Beastmaster, but it's going to cost them a hero, and then 2, including one that just fought back. Is this a death blow? It's probably going to be Rax. They're probably not going to win the game off of this, but man, just that happened out of freaking nowhere. Static Storm actually going to catch the Mirana. It may in fact be a death blow if everyone keeps dying like this. A triple kill for Exotic Deer. Dude, what the hell just happened? Like, this game was going nowhere, and then all of a sudden, like, it's Rax.
Yeah, the fact that Podham got caught mid, I think, is the disastrous bit. I mean, you can lose 2 heroes to the smoke gank in your own jungle. Podham didn't go back in time, so she got forced to go in because the glimpse was the threat. so she didn't have a BKB mid, and then you don't have Podem for these fights. And then you're coming in one by one, like they thought that Tiny would be able to do something, but PL was too tanky, and then Tusk and Tiny die that way, and then your Tiny buys back and he tries to go on the Beast, kills him, but guess what? Beast Boss has already used Raw, so it doesn't really mean anything. And then Podem just gets caught, so yeah. It's a little nexus of rather horrible things happening. And that will be 2 melee racks gone. Full.
Mad Kings.
So.
Is he gonna go for the 2 supports? Looks like he'll get them both. Easy. Okay, they get something. They have a gem. Still Exotic Deer already uses Doppelganger, but he has a BKB. He has a target into this poor AA. And the AoE is non-existent. Exotic Deer's swarm is pushing in. He will doppelgang out, and here comes Patos from behind onto Tricky with the Necro units and the Roar. Siphons is there as well from Nisha with the exorcism on top of it. The Viper's in a lot of trouble right now. We'll try to disengage away.
No detection.
Looks like he may be able to get out to safety as Patos does not have his Necro units any longer. It looks like he'll get tossed up and destroyed, but Exotic Deer is still in the fight, as is Nisha. They're onto Mad Kings right now, and the Tiny will get torn to bits by the spooky ghosts. Still looking for Tricky. And Yule Scepter at what range? Man, I can't believe they still have vision of him. They'll catch him anyway and get the kill. 70 seconds on the sidelines. Exorcism is going to be used to probably take down the rest of this mid lane racks. Unfortunately, Exorcism is not going to be used to push down a tier 2. Maybe it will? No. Oh, well, it's at like 1 HP anyway, so it doesn't actually matter. RBP is kind of in the middle of nowhere here. Up against 2 heroes, is going to get spotted right now. Hit with the silence, spotted by some Smurfs, and is going to get glimpsed back and just destroyed. Oh, this game has suddenly become very, very troubling here for SQG. They will not lose this tier 2. Okay, they will lose the tier 2. But they're just chain feeding. That was, I don't even know how many kills in a row. Look at this graph. Look at the bottom. All of these green dots are kills. I don't even know how to look at the graph. What's the button? What is the graph button, please? Help me. F6 default.
Ah, there we go. Okay, I see it now. Oh yeah, that's the graph, alright. Alright. This game it's gone out of control really fast. Now PL's about to get a butterfly. He's like, what, 500 gold off of it if he sells his Aquila? And then once he has that, I mean, they're just going to run down the bot lane. Roche is coming up in a few minutes. They can play this really safe if they want to, or they can just kind of run in and kill them all. It's really up to them.
The 2 supports on Kinguin both have Blink Daggers. They have another Exorcism in 35 seconds. And SQG picked up no items recently.
Yeah, it's not really improving for them. I just look at this bottom, man. She's just got a Mjolnir and she's got 2 parts of a BKB. Was this Mjolnir so important that it meant that she didn't need to go BKB like immediately? She sells the bottle to get the BKB faster, but she's just so weak. 13k net worth for what? It feels like, you know.
It's like, even right now, even though she has BKB, and Maelstrom is the item that you want to pick up if you're going to try to deal with Phantom Lancer, it doesn't instantly deal with him, it just helps you deal with him.
Yeah, it just helps. Like, when both of your cores have to buy, like, Mjolnir or Maelstrom as their first items, PL is probably having a great game.
Ghosts in the mid lane as the Roar goes off onto the Mirana. BKB with the Snowball is going to keep herself safe for a little while. Still, the Ghosts are in there. So is the PL onto Tricky. There goes the Viper as RVP has to do nothing but run in this fight. He's going to try to Moonlight Shadow. He will get it for his allies. But still, Nisha is chasing forward. They have True Sight from someone. And they'll take down the rest. The Tiny was able to slip off to the left. That's GG called. Kinguin will 2-1 SQG here. Without losing the Rubik to that final play from the Tiny, almost went down. This game, man, that top push.
Yeah, that top smoke gank into the pod and pick off into that push, and it just went out of control very, very quickly. But looking at the matchups, this PL had a free game, pretty much no matter what they did, unless they killed him a lot during the early and mid game. And then eventually they just ran into him and weren't able to do anything about it. Yeah, I don't like the Viper's itemization. I don't like how they ran the mid game after their initial lanes in terms of SQG. And Kinguin just kind of played their game and got handed a whole bunch of fights for free.
Oh. Maybe some limitations of hero pool, as you were talking about in the draft.
I don't think that's even necessarily hero pool issue. I think that's
Oh, I'm saying in addition.
in
addition,
oh,
it's
yeah.
like
They had an idea behind this to do. They wanted to push with like their BKB Mjolnir and Hurricane Pike Mjolnir and Viper and Mirana, and then get some pickups with Tiny, and then go fight with ALT on the Death Prophet and stuff, and hope that they could keep fighting before the PL got like too strong. But didn't quite work out that way.
Well, SQG still putting up a reasonable fight, as everyone would agree. The vast underdogs compared to Kinguin are going to be dropping down to the lower bracket. Again, that game is going to be played tomorrow. That's a best of 1. And their opponent is either going to be Going In or Mad Lads. That's going to be our next match, which is going to be coming up, I don't know when, whenever the admins decide, I guess. You probably guys don't know the team names, but you definitely know the players on both these two teams. Let's run through them right now. We got Mad Lads. That's the Cinderin, MNT, Kezu, Koikva, Madara stack. And Going In is Penta. They just got dropped by Penta, I guess, for reasons. So you guys probably know them as well. Oliver, Wee, Boogie, DNZ, Armen, if what I'm looking at is correct. So this one, a couple of old names with new teams. Should be very interesting to watch. Again, that one's going to be coming up soon, guys. I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Rime. If you guys enjoyed the cast, be sure to stick around. Follow us on Twitter, at Mikelorus for myself, at Rimedota for my co-caster. That's Rime Dota. We'll be back in just a little bit, guys, for the next match of the day.